Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, June 18th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, CERO, absolute monster move on the day. So got to think that a lot of people will be watching this one here as we head into Wednesday. And as of now, there's a good solid pattern here that is taking shape. There we go. Let's move this out of the way. So let's get this drawn into play. So the top part of the pattern is just that resistance trend line that has knocked the price down whenever the price has gotten right around that area. And then the bottom part of the pattern here, we have this area of support. So let's change this to green for support. And then just to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all the same color. So we have this area of resistance. We have this area of support. And then we have the explosive move right there. And then for you golfers out there, let me make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. This would be in what is known as a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's in a bull pattern, excuse me, does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But would it be shocking? Would it catch people off guard if this thing consolidated out a little bit and then got the break up through there? That would not be shocking at all. Again, not guaranteed to happen, but certainly more than a valid question to throw out there as a possibility. So if you like very volatile stocks, you like bull pennant patterns, keep an eye on it. Next one here, PCSA, a very brutal chart on this one, and I'm just kind of in trading lingo, this would be a pump and dump. Now, I'm not saying anything about the company itself, but just based on the price action. And my definition of a pump and dump is the price makes a really impressive move, and then within a relatively small amount of time, the price goes right back to where it was. So first off, did it make a very impressive move? Well, considering that the price was down here, and then it went all the way up there, I think everybody would agree, very impressive move. Second part, within a small amount of time. Well, considering this all happened in the same day, I think this was a pretty small amount of time. And then the final part is the price goes back to where it was. So the price was up here, it dropped back down to this area, and then you maybe notice kind of what's going on here. But as I draw this box here, you probably notice that this box is essentially right where that box is. So yes, the price has quite literally exploded and then gone right back to where it was. With all that said, there can be some interesting dead cat type bounces with these sorts of situations where things are pumping up and all of a sudden, in many situations, it seems like a totally random move back to the upside. And we have a very well-defined area where maybe that could be the key level that sparks any sort of movement. And that is this grouping here of moving averages. The pink line being the 200-period moving average, the purple line being the 50-period moving average. Both of those basically valued at the 31-cent mark. Now, I'm not saying that if the price comes up there and breaks through it, that it's for sure going to go. But would that be shocking? Not necessarily at all, especially when the prices at least started to go sideways, which suggests maybe, just maybe, finally the selling pressure is over. And again, no guarantees, but maybe, just maybe, that this thing might be getting ready to head back up in the upwards direction. But yes, as far as today is concerned and summarizing it, a total pump and dump. Next one here, looking at AMD and good solid overall pattern. You've already heard me talk about it, so I'm actually going to go through it just quicker. I want to respect your time as much as possible. So there we have the top part of the pattern. Here we have the bottom part of it. Let's make that green, and then just because I can't help myself, let's keep it all the same color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the nice upwards move right there. We have the golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another overall bull pennant pattern. The biggest difference here is this is actually a multi-day pattern, whereas the first one was just within a single day. But multi-day bull pennant pattern on AMD, very well-known stock. And while that still doesn't guarantee anything, it can make those patterns that much more credible when they're occurring on stocks that are very, very well-watched and well-known, which AMD certainly falls in that category. So here you go. If you like more well-known stocks and you like bull pennant patterns, keep an eye on AMD. Next one here, ACXP. Interesting situation when you factor a big move up, and then it started to drop and drop and drop. And, around there, that's where it becomes a very valid question. Is this going to be one of those gap and traps, one of those pump and dumps? And seemingly got our answer. The price did level out, and now all of a sudden it's starting to work its way back upwards. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because the price leveled out, just because the price worked its way upwards, does not mean for sure guaranteed this thing is going to curl back upwards and reach new highs. But is it a little bit more valid at this point in time? Absolutely. Case in point, let's just say the price was still doing this, and then I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, based on what? The price is literally just dropping. But that's not the case here. It has at least leveled out and is starting to creep itself back upward. So moving forward, key area to watch from a support standpoint is that trend line right there. And then in terms of key breakout areas from resistance angle, I think right there around the 85-cent mark will be an important area. But overall, great start to the day. Pretty rough pullback, but now things seem to be consolidating out. So we'll see if the price can indeed try to curl back upwards. Next one here, NVDA. Not a whole lot to talk about. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that 145 mark as a key area of resistance. And you can see today, throughout basically the entire portion of the day, the price tried several times. And I mean, it did poke its head a little bit above the 145 mark, but time and time again, the price just continued to get rejected by that level. So in other words, nothing new has changed. It's still all about 145 moving forward in terms of that key initial area of resistance. As far as levels of support are concerned, again, nothing new to really report. If you watched yesterday's video, hopefully remember me talking about that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. And to give credit where credit's due, the price did a beautiful job right there of still maintaining and respecting that level. So from the bullish standpoint, that's exactly what you want to see. And then from the overarching standpoint, so if the price were to drop below the purple line, by no means the end of the world, because you still do have the overarching area of support down there, that pink line, the 200-period moving average. So that's kind of just a whole lot of saying the levels that I talked about in yesterday's video are still perfectly pertaining to today. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, we're looking at PLUG, and very, very important time for the chart right now. And that is because the price, as I speak, you can see is right at that pink line, which you now know is the 200-period moving average, currently valued at $1.07. And I'm not going to call that a do or die level, but I mean, if the price were to drop below it, let me squeeze things out. Now all of a sudden you're putting yourself in a situation where the price has not, totally gone back to where it was, but you're starting to, potentially drift down into an area of the chart that suggests that it's basically game over for the bulls. Again, it's maintaining above the pink line, and even if it comes down a little bit below it, not the end of the world. But I think probably the most simple way to explain this is the further below that pink line the price drops, the more and more evidence is being presented that the bears have officially taken back over. So, but like I said, to be fair, as of now, so far so good. The price is maintaining above that pink line. If the price does try to bounce back upwards, key area of resistance to watch initially going to be right there around that $1.17 mark. But yeah, 200-period moving average, can it hold? Grab your popcorn for Wednesday. Next one, APPS, and interesting situation here because we get to ask ourselves the exciting question. So before today, I'll actually just use these to draw it in because you've already seen this pattern. So we had our area of resistance. I would have drawn something like that, would have drawn that, put the golf ball down here and, would have been talking about, hey, we have a bull pennant pattern. But you probably noticed that, well, as of right now, the price is actually up through the bull pennant, which is a very exciting event. A breakout has occurred. So now that leads to the very exciting question of this. Is this the start of something even bigger? Think about that question. It makes no sense to ask it if nothing worthwhile is happening in the first place. But that's not the situation here. Something worthwhile is happening. What's happening? Well, the breakout is happening. Now, to be fair, I mean, there's no guarantees. Maybe this breakout just rolls right back over. But again, to be fair, that's a two-sided coin. Maybe this breakout is the start of something much bigger, and this thing's getting ready to rock and roll over the next couple of days. So the point being, the breakout has occurred, so now you do get to ask that always exciting question, is this the start of something even bigger? So if you like these kinds of circumstances, definitely get it on your radar for Wednesday. Next one, INDO, and the price is currently sitting at a very interesting level. That being right here around $5.92, give or take. And I say give or take because right here you can see price didn't quite hit the level. Right here, the price actually went above it. But then right there, the price just flat out hit it. So $5.92, or maybe better said, the general area around $5.92. It seems to be a key area of resistance. And as of now, the price is knocking on the door. Yeah, it's gotten rejected here a little bit, but it's still well within striking distance of potentially pushing up there. So keep an eye on $5.92 as that main battleground point of resistance. In terms of levels of support, from the overarching standpoint, Be great to see the price stay above that purple line, and so far so good. You can see just yesterday on Monday, or actually twice on Monday, right there, came up, came back down, found some support, and then today, the rest is history. Another beautiful bounce off there. So moving forward, as long as the price does stay above that purple line, that does represent the bulls essentially staying in charge of the overall trend, which, assuming you're bullish, is what you want to see. But yeah, 592, public enemy number 1 here for Wednesday, so we'll see what happens. Next one here, RBNE. I suppose I should have put this one at a different location in the watch list, but I think you'll remember when I say bull pennant, you'll remember what the bull pennant looks like. But that's what we have here. So I'm going to go through this quickly because, again, you've already heard me say all this stuff, so you know all of it, but just want to make sure that everybody can see it. So the resistance, the support, the nice move right there, the golf hole down here, and a good solid bull pennant pattern. Maybe some people might call it a bull flag pattern, but no need to get in a fist fight over the terminologies because they're all essentially saying the same thing. They're making the point that there was a big surge up, there's been some consolidation, and now it's just a question of, is this consolidation healthy enough to get the move in the upwards direction? So here we go. You have quite the variety of bull pennants, bull flags headed into Wednesday. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And for those of you that watched yesterday's video, I talked about how basically these moving averages had formed a wedge, and it was just going to be a question of who would ultimately win out of the battle. And we got our answer today. And the bears did win as they broke to the downside of the pattern. And then quite the move to the downside. To be fair, the price technically never even touched that level. But not only did it never touch it, it did respect it. So 313 was one of those areas that's not necessarily a do or die, but pretty important. And like I said, to be fair, at least Tesla was able to maintain above that. But certainly was a bearish day from the the angle of it breaking down through that wedge right there. So moving forward, 313 going to be a very important level of support. If the price does try to bounce, then it really just goes to the two brothers up here. The younger brother right here, purple line, 50 period, simple moving average. You can see as soon as the price dropped below it, went right back to acting as resistance right there. And then the big brother up there, that 200 period moving average, which has been a problem many times, but one hurdle at a time. And I would just say first priority number 1 is just making sure the price maintains above 313. And if it does and starts to curl back upwards, and yeah, at that point, breaking and doing battle with those levels makes a little bit more sense. But in my opinion right now, the thing that makes the most sense, because it's the highest priority, is just simply staying above the 313 mark. So we'll see if Tesla can get that job done tomorrow. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely get signed up for the free class, which will be very soon, Thursday, June 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, as always, make sure you hit that like button. And as an FYI, I have begun live streaming. So if you want to watch me trade live, come hang out, ask me questions during the day, then make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you are made aware of when I do go live each and every day. So like I said, if you have any interest in hanging out, seeing me trade live, then definitely do that so you're notified of when I when I go live. And when you show up in the chat box, let me know, hey, I watched the video charts. I always like to make that connection. So thanks for hanging out. Make sure you go get signed up for that free class. Have a good one.